G'day everyone, welcome back to Red Nut Fly Fishing. If you haven't liked or subscribed, please consider doing so. Today we're talking about spring flies. We're going to tie two of my most commonly used spring flies. Hope you enjoy the video. I'll apologise in advance for the sound. I had a mic failure while tying. But without further ado, enjoy and try these patterns out and let me know how it goes. Okay, so let's begin. We're starting off with a size 12 wet fly hook. Let's put a layer of thread on our hook. And stop at the barb of the hook. Trim your waist. Next thing we're going to put in is some copper wire rib. That is by Hens. And we'll tie that in to the outside of the hook. Wrap it up and come back again to the back of the hook. Now let's get ourselves about 4 strands of brown pheasant tail. Okay, so let's put our pheasant tail in. Secure that. Stop your thread where your thorax is going to be, which is probably 2 to 3 mil from the eye of the hook. Twist your pheasant tail a little bit and then wrap up till you get to your thread. Secure that, a couple of wraps, trim the excess, another couple of wraps, won't hurt there. We're going to put a thorax in. Now let's wrap the opposite direction with our wire. Four or 5 wraps, doesn't matter too much how many wraps you do. Secure that. Twist it off. Now we come to our CDC. So just get a single CDC feather. Get your dubbing clamp. In this case, this is just a little magnetized clamp, like paperclip type style one. I find it works really well. So let's clamp down our CDC, and you want to leave about 3 or 4 mil, so you can do this. Run your scissors up, trim those off. Now we need a dubbing loop, and we need our dubbing loop twister tool. So let's create a dubbing loop. Make it just a little bit longer than your clamp. Alright, now in the dubbing loop, get the ends of those fibres and trap them in there, like so. Now spin them up. tucked in there nicely. I've left a little bit of thread here. You can see it, bare thread. I'm going to go around a couple more times till I get to my CDC fibres. As we wrap, I'm going to pull back. Doesn't matter if some shoot forward, I like it like that. It's just got to look buggy. Yeah, keep going. Fairly simple to tie. If you don't have one of these tools, use a bit of coat hanger. That's what I used to use. However, these tools are a lot better, a lot nicer to use. But I find a lot of the time with fly fishing, you've got to make do with what you've got. Buying everything becomes expensive. Just get it over time as you need it. Okay, so now we've got a nice amount of CDC. There's probably a few fibres in there that are a bit long. You can pluck them out, but to be honest, it's good. It creates a lot of movement. So now we'll just finish with the head. We'll just pluck a few of these fibres back and hold that there, and just build ourselves a head. Build it up nicely. That's looking good. Now we'll get our whip finisher. If you don't have a whip finisher, just use a half hitch. Or a hand whip finish, whatever you want to call it. Okay, so 2, 3, 4. That's that. Trim off your waist. Now, let's do a bit of varnish on the head. Secures it a bit more. Makes the head look a bit darker too. So that is essentially it. Works really well. It works really well in rivers as well. So let's tie number 2. Okay. Now number 2 is a little bit different in that we're using, well, I'm using a purple pheasant tail, but you can use black. Black's fine. And for the wire rib, we're going to change over to this copper tinsel. And for the head, something I forgot to prepare, I'm going to use some peacock herring. And we're going to use black thread. So for both threads, I'm using Semperfly 60. One's in dark mocha brown, and the other one is in black. So let's run our thread to the barb of the hook. For the tail, I'm going to use a black Chinese cock, and I'm going to grab about 6 to 8 strands, 6 to 8 fibres, and I'm going to make the tail quite short actually. It's going to be from the eye of your hook to where your thread stops, about there. Any bigger and sort of doesn't do it any justice. It tends to break. Okay, so catch that in, wrap it all the way up. I want to keep it fairly even this fly, fairly straight. Trim that off, couple more wraps just to tidy that up. Doesn't matter too much, we're going to do something with the head later anyway. Alright, if you don't have the Chinese cock hackle, any black feather with nice strands on it will do. The other thing is you can just use the pheasant tail as a tail. So let's get 4 strands of pheasant tail off. And before we do that, we're going to get a bit of tinsel. Getting ahead of myself. We're going to wrap, tie that in. Again, go all the way up, come all the way back. Now, tie in our pheasant tail first. All the way up, and come back to the thorax area, again 2 to 3 mil behind the eye of the hook. Now, let's wrap our pheasant tail. Oh, we lost the fibre, that happens. Doesn't matter too much. Wrap that up. Got a rotary vise, pretty handy, but I don't have one. This is my dad's old vise. Like, who knows, for the 80s. Alrighty, so we wrap that way. Let's wrap the opposite way with our tinsel. One at the back. Okay, up to the thorax, secure that there. Break it off. Oh, might chop that. Tie that off, tidy it up a little bit, and that, my friends, is that. Now, let's get our peacock held. Sorry, peacock dubbing. Add a bit for the thorax. Add a noodle. Now, I reckon that's too much. Less is more. Take a bit of that out. So, okay. Alright, let's create a head. Let's give it a few more wraps. Get our whip finish tool. Oh, gone blind. Rightio. 1, 2, 3, 4. Gone too tight. That's right, got it. Okay. Now all we need to do is a bit of varnish. And that is a really effective pattern in spring. They both are. This one, it can represent mayfly nymphs, caddiss, buzzers. A time a bit smaller if you use them as a buzzer, but they catch fish. So that's all you want really, isn't it? Okay guys, that's the video. Hope you enjoy it. Sorry about the sound again. And I'll see you on the next one.